October the 2nd, 1928, somewhere in the Atlantic. As the shores of my beloved New England fade into the west, I cannot help but feel our vessel is an unwelcome intruder in this realm of water and wind. An urge fills me to leap into the green depths, to feel the embrace of dark waters, and become part of the secrets that lie beneath. Yet duty does not allow me such an escape. I cannot forget Professor Mendel's sacrifice, nor abandon the responsibility I now bear to mankind. What we discovered in that old basement, what those people did, it must be undone. My mind reels at the thought of their depraved scriptures that now reside in my luggage. I leave my life in Arkham behind me and venture now into the greater world. I dare hope for only one outcome: to prevent the entry of an unspeakable horror that would plunge our world into the abyss.
Fantasy Flight Games has a number of Arkham-themed board and card games. Elder Sign, for example, is in a museum, Arkham Horror in one particular town. Now with Eldritch Horror, we have expanded that scope to something that we've never seen before, and that is a worldwide setting.
Eldritch Horror is really the newest rendition of the Arkham Horror line, and it takes the battle that used to be fought in Arkham trying to save the city and spreads it across the world. Now you're no longer just concerned about making sure that Arkham survives, you're concerned about making sure the whole world survives.
So in Eldritch Horror, you're traveling the globe, going to all sorts of different locations, from the pyramids to Alaska to Shanghai. You're traveling everywhere, so travel is a big deal. You need to figure out how you're gonna get train tickets, you might need to get boat tickets to travel across the ocean. So you got cities, you got specific locations, there's really a lot of stuff to explore because the world's a big place.
One of the things that's most exciting to me about Eldritch Horror is the unique narrative and story arc that comes out of any given game.
So we've really focused the experience on what is the fun stuff that players want to do. They want to be having adventures, they want to be encountering monsters, they want to be doing these different things in the world, and to keep the focus on that so that players can have fun and can really get into the world.
November the 11th, Streatham House, London. The papers I uncovered at Highclere Castle confirm that the evil in the Massachusetts basement was no isolated circumstance. I no longer doubt that I touched the edges of a dark scheme that knows no borders. Is that rain against my window, or the tendrils of some unworldly thing biding its time?
So a game of Eldritch Horror is really a game of managing the many challenges that'll be on the board at any given time. There's the main challenge, and that is the Ancient One, whose arrival you are trying desperately to prevent.
In Eldritch Horror, the players are trying to stop the Ancient One from awakening. The way they do this is by solving mysteries. So each of the Ancient Ones has a deck of mystery cards that are the different things that this Ancient One is trying to do to awaken, which means that this Ancient One is really injected into the game. It's going to be telling its own story about what is its history, what is it trying to do.
The Ancient One has a doom track, and if that doom track advances to 0, the Ancient One bursts through into our world. Then there is one final desperate battle. Hopefully it doesn't come to that, and to prevent that from happening, the players and the investigators should work together to solve the 3 mysteries that have been randomly drawn for that Ancient One, the Ancient One that they've chosen.
So for example, Cthulhu, his home is in Relay, so you might need to go and find where Relay is and have some special encounters there. For Yog-Sothoth, there's his son, the Dunwich Horror, which you might have to actually travel to the Arkham region to fight this giant abomination. So each of them has this story that you have to play out in order to defeat them by completing these different mystery objectives.
November 30th, Darshaw Road, Egypt. Leaving the stench and throngs of Cairo behind me, I am now en route to the mastaba of the Black Jackals. My Egyptian guide speaks of the place with thinly disguised fear and implores me to investigate other sites instead. His dread of this place confirms it must play some part in the blasphemous puzzle I seek to solve.
There are 12 investigators in Eldritch Horror, and as a player, you will take the role of any one of these 12, moving about the world by sea or by rail or by road, encountering monsters and having other adventures, and ultimately trying to solve 3 mysteries to win the game.
Players are going to need to split up and cover lots of different issues that are happening all across the globe, but at the same time, they've got some cooperative aspects. For example, they can trade items with each other. Sometimes they're going to have to gang up and fight against some giant horror. So there are reasons why we may want to meet up in the same location at certain times in order to fight something, but there are also reasons where we need to split up because there's just too much going on for us to deal with all at once.
So players are constantly engaged in the game. They're not really being slowed down by a lot of things, but all the time the horror is continuing to grow, and the Omen track is continuing to drive everything forward that is bringing about the destruction that this great old one is imposing on the world.
December 27th, Infirmary of Saint Barbara, the Vatican. I do not recall how I was found in the desert, gravely wounded and incoherent, nor do I understand the ambitions of those who took me into their care and transported me in competent secrecy to convalesce here in Rome. They have even recovered my belongings, including the few charcoal rubbings I made in that Stygian sepulchre below the sands. What they reveal could be of utmost consequence.
A game round of Eldritch Horror consists of 3 phases. During the first phase, the action phase, is when players move around the board, they can shop, they can accumulate travel tickets, different things that they're going to need later on during the turn.
After you've done this sort of preparation, you move on to the encounter phase, and this is where the story-driven sort of narrative aspect of Eldritch Horror really shines. This is where the stories come out. For example, Lola Hayes might draw an encounter card in Shanghai and find that she's wrongfully accused of a murder she didn't commit and get thrown in prison. Leo Anderson might find the Necronomicon or stumble upon the Necronomicon and search through it for clues. You can break up a kidnapping ring in Istanbul. The encounter phase tells all these stories and more, and that's really where the game comes out.
There are also special encounters. There are expeditions, so if I'm in the pyramids, I might have an encounter there, or I might need to fight a monster during the encounter phase. So each player has their short little story, and then we get to the mythos phase, and during the mythos phase is when all the bad stuff happens. So we draw a mythos card, and this card's going to tell us not only how many gates open, it's going to tell us if we spawn a clue, it's going to tell us what awful thing is going on in the world that we're going to have to deal with as well.
February 9th, Wushu District, Shanghai. It took me several days to locate her whereabouts, but I have finally succeeded. I plan to seek her tonight, but I am hesitant as the streets below are packed with jubilant crowds celebrating a new Chinese year. Their revelry and fireworks portend the time of the snake is upon us. I cannot help but interpret this as an ill omen. What is more, I fear that my inquiries to locate the undying mistress have not gone unnoticed. Wherever I go, unkind eyes are upon me, and the shadows are alive with malice. Perhaps I will be safe among the crowd.
So one of my favorite parts of Eldritch Horror are these new condition cards. There's this deck of special things that can happen to players, most of them bad, throughout the game. And these include madness cards and injuries, but also if you happen to get into debt. The unique thing about these cards is that they're double-sided, and when you get one, you don't know what the side effect is at first. So for example, I could take out a bank loan so I can afford that shotgun, but later on, if I hadn't paid off that bank loan, there are going to be consequences. So maybe some hitmen get sent after me and try to break my kneecaps, or maybe the debt collector just comes and takes all my stuff. So there's a lot of variety to what these conditions can do to you, and you need to worry about them now without knowing exactly what they're going to do to you in the future.
April 4th, Serras de Sudeste, Brazil. The natives would cover their eyes and mouths as if fearing some noxious influence from the dead creature. They call it a Mio Gura, a demon from the canyons in the nearby Geral Mountains. I was not surprised to learn the attacker came from the very place I seek to go. I now depart for those forested slopes of mists and stone. A sense of final urgency has come upon me. It seems the stars themselves augur the admission of the unspeakable doom.
So this is a game that, while achieving a level of storytelling that we've never really seen before, will appeal to both newcomers and hardcore gaming veterans. The rulebook for Eldritch Horror is a svelte 16 pages. It can be picked up, quickly learned, and you can hit the ground running with this game.
I think players are going to enjoy it. I think it's a different experience than Arkham Horror. I don't think that you'll be giving up your Arkham Horror copies. I think it'll be another opportunity to expand your Arkham Horror universe and go on those expeditions that you've been wanting to go on and do those things across the world that you've been wanting to do.
It's great to work with Richard and Tim and Nikki and all these people who really put their heart and soul into this game to make it something really special. Personally, I'm very excited for it to come out because I think we're really taking storytelling to a whole nother level here. We're really trying to immerse the players in what's happening to them. They can really feel for what horrors I've gone through. My leg was broken and I fell into this well over here, and maybe I got pulled into this other dimension and traveled to the past or the future, and you really get a sense of this journey that your character is going on from the beginning of the game to the end.
March 16th, 1929. To the Consul of the United States of America. Respectable Sir, I write to you regarding a male patient I believe to be a citizen of your nation. This man was found floating on a crude raft in the Rio de la Plata about 6 days ago, suffering from a form of severe mental trauma. Cursory readings of the journal we found on his person, the same journal I enclosed with his letter, caused me to suspect that his mental faculties have long been compromised. I hope you will be able to take possession of your citizen as soon as possible. His behavior and frequent outbursts cause no small discomfort to my staff and other patients here. Sincerely yours, Dr. Leandro Torres, Director of Mental Health, University of Buenos Aires.